Well, good evening, everybody. My name is Ridhima Pathak. You're watching Sports Today. And it's a very, very interesting day in the world of cricket. Because today, exactly 50 years ago, the very first ODI was played between England and Australia at MCG by chance. And since then, this particular format, which is the ODI format, took center stage of the cricketing world. And today, on Sports Today, we're celebrating just that. Well, I'm joined by Boya Majumdar and a legend, very popularly known as Siva. So, what a pleasure it is to have you on the show. Boya, welcome to the show. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good
Good
evening.
evening, Ridhima. Yeah.
Well, it is really, really a wonderful day and a day worth celebrating right here. So, I'm going to start with Siva, sir, right here. First of all, welcome to Sports Today, sir.
Thank you.
And
I've been
how has
watching the shows. It's been brilliant.
Thank you so much. That means a lot, especially for a channel that is still trying and budding. That really means a lot. Thank you so much. Now, so tell us how the journey has been. How's these 50 years of ODI been?
Well, it's been quite amazing. I mean, a rained off game, then the last day of play was possible. They played that limited overs game way back 50 years ago. And nobody knew at that point of time it was going to be a big hit. And now everybody's aim is to win the 50 over World Cup. And that's quite amazing. It's come a long way. And it's a lot of rules have been changed over the years, but still remains one of the coveted trophies that one country needs to win it. So everybody fights for it. They train for 4 years, 5 years, and then come and put the best team on the park and make sure they show great, amazing skills.
All
Ridhima,
right.
ask him about the jersey he's wearing.
I know. I was just coming to that.
Yeah,
So
this is
you,
the shirt. This is the shirt that I wore in the World Championship of Cricket. And I have another shirt, which is the shirt that I wore in the final. You can see the logo, World Championship of Cricket. So this is going to be given to Boria Da for his museum.
Wow, wow. Now
For
that's
his
my New Year
museum. You
gift.
can see the logo on the left side here, the World Championship of Cricket. This is the one I wore in the final, and I almost got a hat trick. And this is going to be given to Boreas Da's museum, and I will also be endorsing it with a authenticity letter.
Fantastic, my New Year
this
gift.
is
But
amazing.
but Ridhima, let's get that story. I mean, Shiva's wearing that jersey. He's committed the final, but to beat, firstly, all teams you all bowled out except the 176 for 9 in the final. Unbelievable performance. Sunny Bhai as captain. Shiva, give us some stories. Give Ridhima and me some stories.
Yeah, I'll give you the build up to it. I mean, I was playing a club game, a 50 over game on that particular day when the selection took place. And my captain did not even give me the ball. I was the man of the series in the test series. In the 50 over club game, I did not get to bowl a single over. I played as a batsman and as a fielder. So a press reporter comes at the end of the game and he says to me that I've been selected for the Indian team to go to the World Championship of Cricket. And it's a 50 over game. Remember, I didn't even get a bowl in the 50 over game in a club side. And I was quite surprised. I mean, happily surprised that I was picked for the tour of Australia. And that's how the journey began. And on the flight to Australia from Mumbai, we traveled and Ravi Shastri, me and Roger Binney were sitting next to each other. In fact, Ravi and me have been good friends. I asked Ravi why I'm on this tour. I've never played a one-day international. And we had just lost to England in India before embarking on the tour. Ravi said to me that maybe we're coming back for a test series next summer. So they want you to have a feel of the conditions. And that's why probably you're on this flight. But once we landed in Australia, well, the nets were going on, and Sunil Gavaskar, the captain, came and told me, do not bowl your variations in the nets. There will be cameras spying on you from somewhere, and they will look to work out your variations. Just bowl your leg breaks for half an hour, and then go and do your fielding practice. So that's when I felt that I might have a chance to play. So Sunil Gavaskar knew how the press worked in Australia, and he gave me that little bit of a tip not to try any variations in the nets, and that's how we went about. But the day before the first game against Pakistan, you always know India Pakistan on the world stage is going to be a great game, big game, and in Melbourne you have a lot of Pakistani supporters, Indian supporters, and India. Nobody gave a chance for us to win, but before the game, Sunny Bhai took me and Ravi out for lunch. Then we sat and we just ordered. Then Sanibai asked me, "What field do you want to bowl?" So I looked at Ravi and I said, "Listen, you told me I'm here to get the experience for the forthcoming tour of Australia where we were going to play Test match cricket. But Sanibai is asking me my field tomorrow, which means I'm going to play tomorrow." So I just said to Sanibai, "Give me about 5 or 10 minutes. Let me think what I need to do," because I didn't want to do anything hasty. So we sorted out a plan. A captain sits and man manages. A leg spinner needs a really good captain, and Sanibai did exactly that. If you see, the success of Anil Kumble under Saurav Ganguly was amazing because the captain and the leg spinner have to work together in tandem. And all Sanibai told me and Ravi, 10 overs each, 20 overs, I want 4 or 5 wickets. Even if you go at 5 and over. 5 and over in 1985 was pretty expensive. But he was willing for me to give 5 and over, but in my 10 overs, take 2 or 3 wickets. So the whole plan was to break the middle order in the middle overs and make sure we try and get them all out, like Boriada mentioned. We got all the teams all out except in the finals.
This is exactly, I mean, this is the reason why I love this particular show, sir. Thank you so much for sharing that with us because I literally feel like a kid in a candy shop. Can you just take me through? I think we've lost Borada here because of an internet connection, but can you just take me through the evolution of ODI cricket? And especially, since you're telling us about the series where you went to Australia, how has Australia as a country and the support staff, their narrative towards Indian players changed over time? Especially if it finds a lot of relevance right now.
See, people were apprehensive at the beginning because everyone liked the traditional game. It's like England accepting whatever format needs to be played, but still the pinnacle of cricket is Test match cricket. But nobody at that point of time gave a chance for 50 over games, leave alone T20 games. But over a period of time, it became very, very popular with the crowds. So with the crowds come the revenue. And with the revenue coming into each board, the revenue of the players start going up. And then the thought of having the World Cup. And World Cup is something like the Olympics in cricket. Once in 4 years it comes, and people want to win the World Cup. There are some great teams competing. So it became a big hit with the crowds and big hit with the players. You saw great entertainment coming from all the cricketers. And that's how it evolved over a period of time. And now every country wants to win the World Cup, no matter how many times they won it before.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
Borada, I think, yeah, sure, please.
yeah. Go on, go on, go on, go on.
No, I was just telling him, and I feel like a kid in a candy shop because this is what I thrive on, getting
Shiva,
stories of
Shiva,
cricket. And you're
can you just move a little bit to your right, maybe?
By right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's perfect.
yeah.
That's perfect. Yeah, yeah, super, super. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Ridhima, go on.
So you're the right person to ask this. The evolution of the format of the game and the reasons behind it over these 50 years.
Yeah, and it's an interesting question. It's a very important, interesting sociological question you've asked. First, I want to share one of my favorite stories. Today the game has become so competitive. There's so much technology. There's ACSU and all of that. Shiva mentioned the World Cup, and he said it will always remain a coveted trophy, and he's 100% right. You know what happened in the first World Cup? You should go and ask Clive Lloyd, Sir Clive Lloyd. Sir Clive is a very, very good friend and a mentor to me. I mean, someone who has always handheld me and sort of, pampered me in England. We've stayed together in Oxford. At my invite, he did come and spend 3 days at St. John's College. Now, Clive and I, we were chatting one day, and he tells me, "You guys think that we won the World Cup by beating Australia in the final?" And I'm like, "Yes, of course." And he's like, "No, we actually won the World Cup in the semi with, in 1975 when we beat Pakistan in the semi-final." And I'm like, "What, Sir Clive?" And he's like, "Yes, 66 runs still to go. 66 runs, Ridhima and Shiva. 1 wicket left." And Sir Clive had given up. So he was in the pavilion, he was in the dressing room, chilling out. That is when Gordon Andrews, who was Sir Clive's accountant, by the way, today he will not even be allowed within anywhere near the team during a match. Now, Gordon Andrews, at that point in time, there was no ACSU or anything like that. So Gordon Andrews comes darting to Sir Clive and says, "Clive, I've put money on in England, betting is fair. So I've put money on your team. Do something about it." And Sir Clive was like, "Gordon, okay, you've done that. So what he tells his last two batsmen that all you guys need to do is bat out the 14 overs. You bat out the 14 overs, we beat Pakistan. And Clive tells me that I promised myself, as in Clive, that every over they bat out, I will drink one bottle of pale ale. So 14 overs West Indies played, Clive drank 14 bottles of pale ale. So by the time the game ended, and this is Clive talking, he said, I was floating. I was merry. I was floating. And he said, we won. And that's how we won the World Cup, my friend. I'm like, Sir Clive, this can't happen today. So, Ridhima, in that story, you see the evolution of the game. You actually see the evolution of the game, 60 overs to 50 overs. Do you know why the World Cup came to India? And I'll go to Shiva again. Because the legendary Raj Singh Dungarpur, 1983, Raj Bhai told me the story that India wanted 500 extra tickets for that final at Lord's, 25th June 1983. They were refused. They were refused the 500 extra tickets. And at that point in time, A.W. Kanmadikar, Raj Singh Dungarpur, N.K.P. Salve, subsequently Jagmohan Dalmia, that's when the BCCI really got together and said, enough is enough. You will not give us 500 tickets. We will take the World Cup beyond your country to Indian shores. That's what lay the root seed of getting the tournament to India. And the rest is history because, Reliance Cup of 1987 completely transformed the game. Ridhima, to your question about viability, do you know the BCCI balance sheet 1992? Go check with Arun Dhumal if he has access to the balance sheet at hand. I have seen original copies. BCCI had a deficit of 62 lakh rupees. Trust me, 62 lakh rupees deficit in 1992. Today, several $billion. Where did that come from? As Shiva said, from the ODI game. That's how the transformation has been, Ridhima, which is why this format needs to be celebrated. But you should ask Shiva more of these stories because I will be there every day. You won't get him every day.
I
That is
hope you
very
do.
true. We hope we do actually. We do hope that you do join us. Now coming back to you, sir. Now you told us about the fact that how the evolution of ODI for sure. Is there a certain moment from this journey that has really stood by you regarding ODI cricket? A certain match, a certain player, anything about ODI?
And
Well,
Shiva,
first,
also tell me about, she asked you about player. Tell me about player and commentator because you live both lives and you do it equally well. So you as player, you as commentator.
thanks, Boria, for the compliment. I mean, that particular tour of Australia was a fantastic one because we were there for a month and we played 5 matches and won all 5 matches convincingly. But the way in which we trained, Sunil Gavaskar has to be given a lot of credit. We did a lot of fielding practice. We did a lot of fielding practice. Those days, I mean, there were gyms, but the cricketers never hit the gyms. In fact, Kapil Dev used to go for long runs. Mohinder Ramanath would go for long runs. We were pretty much on endurance and flexibility more than weight training and power hitting. So it needed a lot of skills to be able to be successful in the 50 over format at that point of time and good planning as well. So what we did in Australia was a lot of fielding that kept us fitter and the basic training, and the batsmen batted quite a bit. So basically, what was said there at that point in time was each person was given a role. If you see, Ravi Shastri was given the role of anchoring the innings. Srikanth was given the license to go after the bowling from ball number one because the first 15 overs, at that point in time, the first 15 overs, only two fielders were allowed outside the ring. After the first 15 overs, there were 5 fielders allowed outside the ring. That was the rule at that point of time. So Srikanth was given the liberty to go over the top and play shots, and Ravi Shastri would be the sheet anchor. And Gavaskar batted in the middle order. You had Azharuddin bat at number 3. You had Dilip Vengsaka bat at number 4, or Sunil Gavaskar between 4 and 5, Vengsaka and Sunil Gavaskar. Then you had somebody like a Mohinder Ramanath batting at number 6. So the all-rounders in that team, if you include Roger Binney, if you include Kapil Dev, Roger Binney, Madan Lal and Mohinder Ramanath, the talent that the all-rounders had was enormous. So we had 6 genuine bowling options and fantastic batsmen, top order batsmen and middle order batsmen. And that team that played the World Championship of Cricket, everybody had a first class 100, including me, who was supposed to be batting at number 11. So the versatile cricketers, 83 World Cup, if I have to compare, there were a lot of seniors. I think the junior most member in the 83 World Cup was Ravi Shastri. But in the 85 World Championship of Cricket, you had Sadanand Vishwanath, you had me, you had Mohammad Azharuddin, who was new to cricket at that point in time. Then you had Chetan Sharma. Then you had Manoj Prabhakar, who didn't play a single game. So you had experience and the enthusiasm of the youth. So it was a mixed team, and Sunil Gavaskar, the leader, handled everybody well. And having got a lot of credit. I mean, with my birthday a few days ago, there were a lot of posts on Twitter. But Sadanand Vishwanath was brilliant behind the stumps. He
Oh, yeah.
would actually give the Pakistanis or the Australians or the Englishmen whatever he had to give. And he was as good as an Aussie to sledge behind the stumps. In fact, Javed Miandad got irritated and he told Sunil Gavaskar, why didn't you ask him to stop talking?
Oh,
All
man.
right. But
Beautiful.
very interesting. It's beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing this. Yes, Burida.
He's told you about 85, Ridhima. There are three high
Yeah.
points in India's journey. I mean, if you really decode the 50 years, the three highest points in India's journey, 83, 85, Shiva's there for 85 and 2011. So he's already given you 85. Let me quickly give you 1983 and 2011. 2011, my favorite story. Do you know Sachin Tendulkar did not watch the final six? He did not watch Mahendra Singh Dhoni hit that six because he was inside in that ante room at the Wankhede Stadium, lying on a massage table. And Virendra Sehwag was with him. So at one point in time, Virendra and Sachin Tendulkar had his eyes closed. And he was literally praying. So Virendra Sehwag told the monsieur, "Arey ye to so gaya, ab Sachin Paji so chuka, bahar jaake dekhte hain." Sachin instantly told him, "Soya nahi hai. So kahin nahi ja rahe ho. पहले फाइनल रन होगा उसके बाद जाओगे because वो once the final runs are scored you can watch it a million times on television but you will not jinx it by going outside." So these two guys did not actually watch Mahendra Singh Dhoni hit that winning six at the Wankhede and only went out into the balcony after that winning shot was hit. Now this is the truth. Sachin Tendulkar will corroborate this story big time. So that's absolutely a fact. 1983, Ridhima, an English journalist who now is a good friend of mine, David Frith, wrote in an article that he will eat a paper of a magazine because that magazine claimed that, India had no chance and India was absolute useless. They did not even deserve to play in that World Cup. So David Frith had written that he would eat the pages of the magazine if India did well. Now, P.R. Mansingh, the manager, after India did well, actually sent a copy of that magazine to David Frith and said, "Would you please, sort of now eat the pages like you had promised?" So this is the 1983 story. There are incredible stories, Ridhima. One can keep asking, but I want to also you to ask Shiva, what's the way forward? Does he see T10, T20 eating into this? Does he see bilateral series remaining relevant? How does he see the future for the ODI game? That's something I would want to know.
Absolutely. So, what's your take on that?
Yeah, sure. 50 overs has become very challenging because after the T20 is coming in, you're getting big scores 350, 375, 380. So you're getting a massive scores. And I personally believe because the batsmen are getting so many runs, there should be a rule change. See, you'll see the last 10 overs, 5 fielders outside the ring. I think over number 11 to 40, there's only 4 fielders outside the ring at this point in time. I think you need to go a little bit relaxed on the bowlers. You need to have 5 fielders outside the ring after the first 10 overs because batsmen today are power hitters. And T20, you have 5 fielders outside the ring after 6 overs. So why not do it in the 50-over game? Because there needs to be some competition with the ball coming up. You see more often than not, on a pitch which is tricky or a pitch which is helpful, you find a much more interesting game when it's a low-scoring game. You saw even in the World Cup, when scores of 350 got, it was not as interesting as the finals as 240 or 250. When England played New Zealand, when India played New Zealand. So I would like to see a little bit more orientation in the pitches or with the field changes in the playing conditions for the bowlers also to get into the game. Because with the switches and the reverse sweeps, batsmen are allowed to improvise, whereas bowlers are not being given anything. So I think there needs to be a way forward where bowlers can compete in the game as well.
Very good point.
Very interesting. Very interesting point. Now, let me tell you that our comment section is flooded with questions. And since we're just left with 10 minutes into the show, let me ask you a question which I also find very interesting by Prasanjit Diwan. And this one's for you, Boryada. It says, do you think 96 to 2010 was the greatest period for ODI cricket? If not, which period is your favorite for ODIs?
Maybe a couple of years before that. I mean, I would say when Shiva played 85, I would actually take it back because that's when the revolution started. Post 83, a game became a profession, profession became an obsession became life, and a life became livelihood. That's how the transformation happened as far as I'm concerned. And if you really see post 90s with liberalization came money. Sachin became the first poster boy. So when Shiva played that period between 85, I would predate it by a decade. Yes, till 2010, till the advent of T20 cricket. Absolutely is the best period. Look at the crowd stats. Look at the kind of crowds we had for every ODI fixture in India. And you will know how popular that game was. I mean, that's my take, but Shiva might have a different take.
What about you, Shiva, sir? If I had to ask the same question to you, the best period for ODI cricket, according to you?
I think it was built. I mean, 1983, the platform was laid, and then there was these expectations from the public that we can also win the World Cup and also win the T20 trophy. And the inaugural T20, we won it under Mahendra Singh Dhoni. So we became a champion side after that. And the expectations are amazing in India. It's quite amazing that the pressure on the captain. So I thought the period of making the team solid and becoming very, very tough competitors, I would rate the 2003 World Cup in South Africa as the toughest one that India played. And India came to the final and lost to Australia. Australia were a superb side. They lost to Australia in a high-scoring game. Australia got a lot of runs. But I think that particular 2003 in South Africa, where the pitches were lively, I thought we did exceptionally well. The India-Pakistan game was brilliant. And I see a way forward with the advent of T20 and IPL playing a significant part in the development of Indian cricket and world cricket, because 4 overseas players play for any team in the IPL. So I see a way forward in the 50-over format and the T20 format, and largely because the public are enjoying it. You have to divide Test match cricket, which is the greatest, which is the pinnacle that everyone wants to play, where the connoisseurs of the game will certainly watch it. But the 50-over and the 20-over games, you have a separate audience for that. The T20s are like parties. The youngsters come and have a whale of a time. They enjoy a good time. Of course, they want their home side to win. But at the end of the day, they get the entertainment that they paid for. And television is very big. Television is really big. And the money that comes in. I think what Boria mentioned is of great significance. If we were not given enough tickets for that World Cup, and if Raj Singh Dungapur and Jagmohan Dalmia, and India was the first country to get the World Cup out of England. 75, 79 and 83 happened in England, and 87, for the first time when it came out, it came to India, and Mr. Jagmohan Dalmia and Raj Singh Dungapur contributed in a significant manner. Only after that, the monetary revenue started coming into the Indian board and the world, whichever country competed, and also the players benefited after that. So in the early 90s, when Saurav captained the team, it was a point of re-establishing what the champions have already achieved. So Saurav had a really good side. He picked a good side. He nurtured good cricketers, and there's no looking back. Everyone in the world, even if you're not in the best form, they fear India.
Good answer.
Nice.
Very good answer.
Very nice. So that's it. We've got our comment section flooded for questions for you. So I'm going to take another one very quickly. We've got Chandra Dugineni asking, best ODI match in individual innings with a bat and ball you have seen in the last 50 years?
Best batting.
That's a tough one to choose though. Yeah.
Best batting, I would say, we would have to say Sachin Tendulkar. He got a 175 in Hyderabad against Australians. I think it was a brilliant innings. And also against Pakistan, Tendulkar against Pakistan in South Africa, when they had to get about 270. Played a spectacular innings of 90 plus. And the back foot cover drive of Wasim Akram in that particular match stands still in front of my eyes. So I think those two knocks by Sachin Tendulkar, and the brilliant bowling spell. I mean, you can't forget Anil Kumble, 6'12" against the West Indies. I mean, that's why I'm saying the limited overs, 50-over cricket has to be a little bit flexible. A bowler gets to bowl only 10 overs, and Anil Kumble was magnificent getting 6 for 12 under pressure. Whereas the batsman can bat 50 overs if he's opening the innings. So there need to be a few laws where one particular bowler or two bowlers can bowl 12 overs. So the side gets a little bit of cushion, even one of the bowlers has an off day. So I think you need to tweak the rules a little bit, the playing conditions, so it becomes far more interesting. Change is the only constant in life, and that has to be in cricket as well.
Yeah, Ridhima,
Right.
with your quick
Yeah.
permission, he's mentioned Sachin's Pakistan innings. I'll tell you a story. 3 days before that Pakistan innings, Sachin had come out after practicing. Okay, he had come out after practicing, and he was opening his bandage because in the South Africa World Cup of 2003, he had 3 injuries, and his ankle every day was taped up. He would tape it up himself because he didn't want to meet the physio first thing in the morning. Now he came back to the dressing room, and he was obviously focused on the game. He inadvertently pulled open the bandage. And he tells me, and this is Sachin, he says, I was feeling something reddish brown in my hand. It might sound gory for our listeners and viewers. He said, I was feeling something reddish brown in my hand, and it was actually his own flesh, which had come out from the bottom of the big toe. So there was a deep hole at the bottom of the big toe. His flesh had come out. So he had two options. One, to call the physio and said, I'm not available. Two, take a pair of scissors, cut that portion of the bandage with the flesh, put it back at the spot, the big toe, and then tape it up again and go and play. And he thought, this is my chance to do something for my country again. So he cut his own flesh, put it back, and the rest is history. 98 of 78 balls. Again, Shoaib Akhtar, Waqar Yunus, and Wasim Akram. There's Sachin Tendulkar for you.
This is amazing.
Boria,
Teach us a little bit. Yeah. Yes, sir, please.
just sorry to come in. Boria, you
Sure, sir.
mentioned about 2011 when Sachin was lying down on the table. I was just thinking of one line: if the God has to pray, then there's no other way but winning.
These are the little things that is making this particular show really, really interesting. We've got Salil Sen asking Boryada, who's your favorite ODI captain of India till date? Boryada, you're on mute. Boryada, you're on mute.
Yeah,
We
no,
can't hear.
I was getting a call. So you need to come again with the question.
So we've got Salil Sen asking, who is your favorite ODI captain of India till date?
Favorite ODI captain has to be my friend Saurav Ganguly. That South Africa World Cup, I know what he went through. Obviously, Mahendra Singh Dhoni has won us the. Okay, my favorite Saurav Ganguly for the way he transformed the team, but the best ODI captain record has to go to Mahendra Singh Dhoni. Simple. If you win a World Cup, if you win a T20, and if you win a Champions Trophy, debate rested. According to me, Saurav is the best overseas test captain India has produced, and Mahendra Singh Dhoni has to take the ODI accolade. But a personal favorite for that transformation that he brought in that side, Nat West, opening his shirt, that I think is one of Saurav Ganguly's all-time achievements. He'll kill me if I say this on air, but yes, because you will get 100, Saurav, but how many people will go and open his shirt at the Lord's balcony? You will be the only Bengali to do that, and you did not have six-pack abs like Salman Khan. You are the middle-class Bengali with flabs, with multiple threads around your neck, but you still open your shirt, and you're twirling it like a flame. That's why you're Saurav Ganguly.
The biggest
Oh,
challenge for Saurav Ganguly, was the bar was already set by Kapil Dev in 83 and Sunil Gavaskar in 85. And to maintain that kind of an expectations, to live up to that kind of an expectation after these two captains, there's a lot of hard work. That's where Saurav Ganguly's man management, and he chose the right players and he backed the right players to do a job and instilled a lot of confidence. So I would say Saurav was one of the best. I would have loved to play under Saurav. A lot of people tell me he handles his bowlers really, really well.
that's true.
Fabulous.
That is absolutely true. One last question before we close the show. We've got just 2 minutes to do the show. We've got Sai Saran asking, Siva sir, according to you, who are the top 10 ODI Indian players till date?
Top 10?
Oh man, top 10. Wow.
Top 10 ODI players.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Top 10 ODI players. Yeah.
Top 10 ODI players, I would have to say Sachin Tendulkar, Saurav Ganguly. Then I'd probably go from India first. Then Mahendra Singh Dhoni. Then I would say Anil Kumble. Then I would go to somebody like a Malcolm Marshall.
No,
Then
he's
I would
asking
go to
India, Shiva. India.
India.
What do
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, fine. So I've gone Tendulkar, Saurav Ganguly, Virendra Sehwag. Then I would go to a Virat Kohli, Mahendra Singh Dhoni, Anil Kumble, Kapil Dev. Then I need some all-rounders. I need a Mohinder Ramanath. I probably another two or three. We need. I've got 8 on my hands, and it's hard to
I
pick with so much
take
talents.
you need Rohit Sharma
Whether
as
you
well.
can help
White
them.
ball, great.
Rohit
Yeah,
Sharma,
Rohit
Rohit
Sharma.
Sharma. Yeah, how can I forget that? Rohit Sharma.
And
Then we need
currently you get Jasprit Bumrah because of his white ball
Anil Kumble
cross.
and Bumrah. Anil Kumble and Bumrah.
Yes.
Well, there you have it. Top 10 ODI batsmen from India, that India
You
ODI
caught me
players
by
from India, from
surprise.
ODI players. Yeah, players.
ODI players from Siva. But thank you so much, gentlemen. Thanks a lot. And Boryada, thank you so much for making me a part of this particular show. What a special show we had. I
I'm
hope,
not.
Siva,
Well,
you've
hello, hello,
enjoyed this
hello.
show.
I didn't
Yeah.
make you a part of it. This is your platform. You are the host for all shows. So don't even say I made you a part of it. Only I take over when you ditch us. So let's put that on record.
But Rasa, I hope you enjoyed joining sports today. And our
Yeah, it
comment
was
section.
great, nostalgic, very memorable, and great to be on the show. Hopefully, you will call me
Thank
like
Many more.
Boryada mentioned. You will call me more often on the show.
Many more
100.
times, Shiva. Many more times. And thank you very much for the jersey. Humble,
Thank you.
very kind. Thank you
This
so
is
much.
coming up. This is coming up to you soon.
Thank you so much.
100%. Thank you so much. For 50
Yeah.
years of ODI cricket celebrating here on Sports Today. First of all, thank you so much for all those lovely comments. Really, really appreciate it. I've been reading all of them. And thank you so much for all the love you've been showering. I hope you like the show. This is a special from our end. Stay tuned to Sports Today for more stuff like that.